Hi everybody, I am here to show you my pickups from the first half of August 2023. Before I get into that though, I actually have one pickup from the very end of July. It was delivered literally minutes after I filmed my final pickups of July video. And that is Disney Illusion Island for Nintendo Switch. So this is a new release. From Disney Games, and it's a 2D multiplayer platformer that is a little bit like the Rayman Origins or Rayman Legends games, if you've played either of those. But there is surprisingly no combat in the games. There's definitely enemies and bosses, but for the enemies, you simply have to avoid them. And then for the bosses, at least the one that we've encountered so far, you use environmental objects to battle them. But still, very very cool. We've played through maybe about a third of the game so far. My fiance and I, and I think it's pretty good. So picked that up again. That was the very very last minute July pickup. But now into August. So the first thing is actually related to this in a way. So in the game, there are hidden Mickey, like little icons throughout the background that you have to find and photograph. And my fiance was telling me at apparently Disney World, and I would assume Disneyland, there's hidden Mickeys throughout the park that you can find. And sure enough, a few days later, I'm at Goodwill, and what do I find but The Hidden Mickeys of Walt Disney World, the book. So it was $2.99, and I was just kind of crazy timing, but it's pretty cool. It's I've sadly never been to any of the Disney parks or like major theme parks, but still kind of cool. If I ever do make it there, maybe I'll bring this along. Picked up another book at that same store. Another book by the Oatmeal, if you're familiar with their website or other books. But this one is called Why My Cat is More Impressive Than Your Baby. And we have 3 cats, which we love and treat like babies. So thought this was kind of a hilarious title. Again, $2.99, and it does have a poster. So that was cool find. 2 other things at that store. Found Taco Cat spelled backwards and A Little Wordy, both of which are games by the creators of Exploding Kittens, if you've heard of that one. Now, both of these, if I can pop it open here, I'll show you, are basically brand new. None of the pieces have been opened, or in this case, they're all unpunched. And I think both of these retail for, I'd say around like maybe $15 or even $20. But I got both for just $1.99 each. So not bad at all. Okay, so that was the first Goodwill. And then I stopped at another store that same day and actually found a pair of Nintendo DS games, both complete in box. Nothing mind-blowing, obviously, but still, got Lego Batman, the video game, as well as Tron Evolution, both of which were $2.99. So this one, I think I might already have a copy, but I read that it does have multi-cart multiplayer, so I figured this way, if I ever want to play multiplayer, I'm all set. And with Lego Batman, I'm pretty sure I have Lego Batman 2, but did not have this one, so now I have both. One other thing I found was this very cool Transformers Armada Battle for Cybertron game. This was fairly cheap too. Maybe it's on the back. Oh, yeah, right down here. $2.99. So I think, let me get this open. Yeah, the little window's kind of loose here. But it's all right. I counted it does have all of the cards as well as the like board or the boards for the game, and then all of the figures. I think there are 8 figures. But weirdly, if you can see here, there's an Optimus Prime, of course, but out of all the figures, he's missing his little circular base. I'm not sure how or why, but whatever. Other than that, yeah, it has the instructions. I think it might have been missing... There's some, like, little, like, counter pieces, something like that. So, no big deal. But yeah, thought this was cool. And again, like a couple other Transformers things I found recently, I'm pretty sure it's using the artwork from, like, the IDW comics, which is really cool. Okay, that was it for Goodwill, but I also stopped at Treasure Hunt, the store with the bins, and I typically tend to go on the $2 day, when everything's just $2. Unfortunately, it's kind of slim pickings that day, but I did find a pretty nice, what is this, DisplayPort cable. It's like super nice quality and really long, and I didn't have any DisplayPort cables, so for $2, grab that. And then hopefully you can see this without a glare, but it is a Stranger Things Demogorgon, what is that called? The Vitruvian Man style t-shirt. And then it's got some Russian at the bottom. I don't know what it means. Now this is way too big for me. This is actually a men's 4X. I wear a 2X typically, but I figured it was a cool design, and you know, if it's huge, I could just use it as like a pajama shirt or something. Thought that was neat. And then next to Treasure Hunt, there's a bigger store I may have mentioned before called Community Threads. It's part of the Home of the Sparrow store network. So I just found a couple cool things. I got another one of these little bubble popping toys, and it is Godzilla. So that was $1.99. And then I found the first season of Party Down, which is a really, really funny comedy show, if you're not familiar. So lots of really great actors and actresses in this. Adam Scott, Ken Marino, Jane Lynch, Lizzie Kaplan. It's a really hilarious show. And DVDs at that store, I believe, are $2. So I got these, and I think I also got like a tote or something. I'm not going to show it on video, but I had a $5 coupon, so I got everything for like $1 out of pocket. Then that was it for that day, and then I believe it was last Sunday, we were heading to a family party, and I ran in a Goodwill on the way and found some pretty cool stuff. So I got a couple dinosaur toys, as I want to do. Found this cool red, I think it's a T-Rex by Schleich, I want to say, or Safari. Yeah, Schleich. But only $149 for him. Pretty cool. And then got this generic Dimetrodon, which is my favorite, again, technically not a dinosaur, but favorite prehistoric creature. Also $149. Then, it looks like the tag fell off him, but this little electronic Dilophosaurus from Jurassic World was also $149. Let me go ahead and power him on here. So he makes noises and is like animated. Here, check it out. And then, I don't know that you can see the table, but if you touch its chin, it'll actually run across the table. So it's kind of cool for $1.50. I think it's normally like maybe a $20 toy, $15. Either way, very, very cool. Another figure, found this massive alien queen from Leonard. So this is the red version. I have the purple version already. These, if you haven't seen them before, are sold at Walmart as kind of like a budget toy line. I think it's normally only about $20, but again, $1.49. And if you push it, the back of its head here, the little mouth pops out. So, I mean, for like a kid's oriented toy, this is pretty cool. It's really detailed, got some decent articulation, and I mean, for $1.50, I am thrilled to add this to the collection. The head kind of spins around a little bit. That was cool. And then found this is, I believe, from Team Sonic Racing, or one of the Sonic and All-Stars racing games. But it's Shadow the Hedgehog. And this was $249. Now, it's supposed to be an RC car. I unfortunately couldn't find the remote, but I have a couple other cars from this series, and they just make kind of cool display pieces, I think. I'm pretty sure I have Sonic, and then I have Knuckles on a little ATV, but I've never actually seen Shadow, so for $250, I was happy to find that. One other toy, this is a PKE meter from Ghostbusters. Again, only $249, and I just put some fresh batteries in it to see if it works, and let me show you what it does. So hopefully you can see the lights and the sound, but that is pretty cool for like $250. And then I think you could turn it off. Yeah. So it goes back and turns off. And it's also got like a little belt clip, so if you have a costume, you can keep it with you. One other absolutely crazy find at that store. So if you've seen my previous pickup videos, I believe it was just last month, I found the Aura Interactor, the kind of like vest that you wear. It's like a speaker vest that lets you interact with the games, or get into the action, I think was their tagline. So I was walking through this store, through the electronics aisle, and I spotted the Aura logo and found an Aura Interactor cushion. I had no idea they made other versions of the Interactor, but this, I have no idea when it came out or why it was there, but the box is in decent shape, and I'll try to show you. Hopefully this is all in frame. You can see the back. So instead of the vest, like the Interactor itself, this is something you put on the back of your chair. But as far as I understand, it hooks up the same way. So it'll work with basically any game console, computer, TV, really anything with a headphone jack, from what I understand. But what's especially crazy, so this was only $5.99, and hopefully you can see this on the video, but it's brand freaking new! Completely untouched. It's even got like a little quick start guide. I couldn't believe it. So it's just crazy to me to find this less than I think it was like 2 weeks after I found the actual Interactor. So I don't know who's getting rid of these, but I'm happy to buy them. So, okay. One more batch of thrift store stuff. Didn't really have too much time or money to go out much the last couple weeks, but I did go out earlier. I think it was Tuesday was the Customer Appreciation Day. So I've got a couple things. First of all, let me go ahead and start with these. So I got a couple toy bags. So this one was just $1.99, and it's all kind of like holiday themed things. So this is kind of random. It's just like a weird kind of cuff, probably part of some like Halloween display. But all the other things are little like plastic electronic figures. So let me turn them on here. Which way does it go? There. That's kind of cool. And they have like a little light sensor in the base. So there's Santa. There's a snowman. Got something loose inside of this one, but it does work. It's just a little quiet. It's playing Jingle Bells if you can't hear it. And then there were two different witches. I think this one's probably part of the same series or the same brand. So it's just kind of like typical witch laugh. And then this one is a bit more, I guess, realistic style. But this sound effect is so nostalgic for me. It's, once you hear it, you might, if you grew up in the 80s or 90s, you will probably recognize this. Here we go. It's just that generic evil laugh that was in like every Halloween toy or decoration from probably like 1980 to 2001. But yeah, very cool. And then this is probably just like a random dog toy. It's just like a really spiky ball. I don't know why it was there, but again, just $1.99 for all of these. So some fun little holiday decorations. And then this other bag, the main reason, so this one was $2.99, and the main reason I grabbed this is I actually recognized this guy. You can see it's a dinosaur with a mohawk on a motorcycle, and this is part of a pretty obscure toy line from when I was a kid called BC Bikers. Hopefully that's in focus for you. But there were a few different like dinosaur bikers. He is removable, but this one is still like zip tied to the motorcycle, which is nice. So it means it's complete. But yeah, a few different dinosaur figures, all with this kind of like punk biker style. And you can't see the table, unfortunately, but it does have a pullback feature. So you pull it back using these little side tires, and it'll rev forward. And I mean, I hadn't seen one of these in probably like 20 some odd years, so it was just like an unlocked memory when I spotted it in the bag. And then there's a couple other kind of cool things in here. A lot of his stuff I'll probably like either sell or redonate, but there was a cool little dinosaur figure, another little like Halloween jack-o'-lantern toy, and then there's a couple Moana figures. So we've got Maui with his fishhook, Moana, and then what was the chicken's name? Hey, I think. Oh, and then I couldn't tell you what the character's name is, but one of the Lego Friends minifigures, a keychain. And then yeah, the rest of it is just kind of like random stuff. So nothing too interesting. But I was really happy to get the BC Biker alone for $3, so I'm good. Then let's see, got this I thought was interesting. So hopefully the glare's not too bad. I actually found a pair of Magic the Gathering PC games, so like old Windows 95 games. So on this side we have Magic the Gathering Duels of the Planeswalkers. You can see that. And then when I flipped it over, I was surprised to see another game. It's Magic the Gathering Spells of the Ancients. So I definitely recognize that artwork, because this is kind of from the era that I was into Magic. I started with 4th edition and then fell off around probably like 2000, 2001. It was one of the Urza's sets. I don't remember exactly which one. But yeah, very cool to find like the old computer games. Speaking of games, I got one Nintendo Wii game. So it's called World of Zoo. And at first glance, you might think it's like typical Wii shovelware kind of stuff. But I looked it up, and it actually looks kind of fun. It's got some pretty cool like cel-shaded animal or cel-shaded graphics of like the different animals. And so it was tagged $2.99, but pink tags were half off. Plus, I got another 20% off, so it was like a little over $1. And this thing is like basically brand new. The disc is untouched. So anytime anything gets that cheap and looks mildly interesting, I'll usually give it a shot. And then finally got actually one more kind of toy thing. So you may have heard of a Dammit doll, which is what this is modeled after. It's like a doll like this that you're supposed to just like take your aggression out on. Like if you're mad at your boss, or I think there was one that's like styled after Donald Trump, for example. Like it's just, like a stress reliever. But this one is specifically called the Money Doll, and hopefully you can see it's got like U.S. currency printed all over it. And They typically have like a little like rhyme or saying or something here, but this one says, "When your income is spent and it's time to pay the rent, give this doll a good shake to soothe your heartache. If money could talk, it would say goodbye, so keep slamming away and watch the stuffing fly." But yeah, I thought it was funny, and it was only 99 cents plus 20% off, so a whopping 80 cents. And, you know, who knows? Maybe it'll bring in some money. We'll see. But then I got a couple books. So I actually found Danganronpa, the animation manga, volume 2, for $2.99. They actually also had volume 1, but I already have a copy, so I left that for somebody else to find, but grabbed volume 2. And then got a Pokemon First Partner Handbook. So I've collected a lot of these other handbooks. They have some pretty cool artwork. This one was a little beat up, but I think I was like $1 away from getting 20% off. So just grabbed it just kind of as filler. But it is a cool book. It's got some cool artwork. A lot of screenshots from like the anime, explaining like how Ash met all these characters. And I mean, that was around the time that I watched the show, so it was kind of nostalgic for me to flip through. But that was cool. And then one other thing, I honestly had no idea this existed, but I found a U.S. Acres, what do they call these? I guess you would call it a graphic novel. It's a collection of comic strips. So when I was a kid, I used to collect the Garfield treasuries. That's what they call them. So I collected the Garfield treasuries, but I watched the show, which is how I was familiar with U.S. Acres, but I somehow didn't know that U.S. Acres was also a comic strip. So yeah, I was kind of surprised to see this, and again, it was $2.99, but I've literally never in my life seen one before, so had to get it. All right, that is actually it for the thrifted stuff this time. But I did pick up, let's see, let me grab these. So I grabbed one clearance toy at Target. I found the Hammond Collection Velociraptor. In this case, it's the one from Jurassic Park 3, the like male raptor. Here, let me show you the back, because the price tag's probably obscuring the figure. But this was down to 50% off, $7.49, and they only had the one left, so did not want to miss that. And then I got a couple things off of eBay, some of which haven't arrived yet, but a few things did. So first of all, I got Rhythm Thief for 3DS. So I actually previously owned this game and sold it either earlier this year or at the end of last year for quite a bit of money, but I regretted it because it is a really good game, and I love rhythm games and Sega, and I guess some of this music is going to be in the upcoming Samba de Amigo. So I'm like, oh, the game's probably just going to get more expensive. So I lucked out, and I ended up winning a copy on eBay for significantly less than I sold my copy. And this one is in very comparable condition. It has, it's actually in my system right now, but it has the manual, all the inserts, and it's in great shape. So very happy to re-add this to my collection, and I will not be selling it again. And then I also, if you've watched some of my previous videos, I've mentioned that I used to collect the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventures comics from Archie when I was growing up. And I recently completed the main set of, I believe there are 72 issues in the main series, and then there were a bunch of spin-offs and specials and whatnot. So I have every standard comic, but I found out there were a few additional stories that kind of tie in. So there were some like promotional comics that came in, I think cereal boxes, for example, and then one that came with a figure. And I was like, okay, I gotta get these now, or I gotta track them down. But in addition to those, they also reprinted some of the comics in digest form. So if you're not familiar, the digests are much smaller, kind of compact versions of the comics that were sold typically at like checkout lanes at various stores. And so with the TMNT Adventures, they released 7 volumes in digest form. And I had been kind of keeping an eye, or I had like a saved search on eBay for a while, and it looked like individual issues were going for anywhere from like $10 to even $30 for one volume. And I was like, oh, I don't want to, I don't really want to pay that much. But I got really lucky, and I found a complete set of all 7 volumes, and I won it for $31. So not bad at all. But these literally just arrived an hour ago, so I'm happy I'm able to show them today. But I'll give you, the seller packaged these very, very nicely, so I'm happy with the condition. But here we have volumes 1 and 2. And here is, I believe this is, number 3. And next, here's number 4 and number 5. So from left to right. And finally, number 6 and number 7. So very happy to add these to the collection and get one step closer to a truly complete collection of TMNT Adventures. And then, aside from eBay, I had a few limited run games orders show up. Stuff from over a year ago again. But at least they're sort of catching up. So, and a lot of it's worth the wait, so you know how it goes. But anyway, this first order included Save Me Mr. Taco Definitive Edition, or Tasukete Taco-san. So this is a kind of retro style platformer starring an octopus. And I think I bought the original release of this game digitally, and then they kind of like revamped it as the definitive edition. And when I found out there was a physical copy, I definitely wanted to get it. So I'll give you a quick look. Hopefully you can see the back there. But it's a really fun game, so glad to add that. And then got the latest batch of Shantae stuff. So this time around, it was Shantae and the 7 Sirens. So this is the collector's edition for PS5. I believe at this point I'm just waiting on the original Shantae game. So like the port of the Game Boy Color game. And then I plan to do a full series unboxing of all the PS5 collector's editions. So be sure to check back for that whenever Limited Run decides to deliver it. But in addition to the game, I got the set of exclusive trading cards, as well as the Pogs. I absolutely love Pogs, which I mentioned many times. And I've gotten all of the Pogs that Limited Run has released. So all the different Shantae sets. They did one for, at least one set for River City Girls. And then I believe there was a set for Turok as well. So again, just waiting on the ones for the original Shantae. And I think I'll have all of them. And then for this game, they did a few other special collectibles. So in this little nondescript white box, let me, if I can get it open. Jeez. There is a mini Shantae arcade system. Hopefully the glare isn't too bad and you can see the artwork on the side panels there. Now this isn't actually playable. From what I understand, it just plays kind of like a trailer or like promotional video for the game. But I just thought it was really cool because I love Shantae. I've bought pretty much all the other collectibles aside from like the skate decks because I really have no use for those. But thought this was really neat, so I got that. And also, I was hoping they would make more of these since this is labeled Series 1, but to date they've only done these 2. So these are acrylic figures. So in this case, we have Shantae with her battle armor, as well as Sky with her battle armor. So obviously, like real three-dimensional action figures would be cooler, but I mean, these are kind of cool. You can see, yeah, sorry, show you the back here. I'm pretty sure it's the same on both. But if you notice, it is labeled Shantae Series 1, so I assume they might make more, hopefully. We'll see. I think they've released basically every Shantae game to date, except for the recently announced Shantae Advance, that I'm definitely going to buy. We'll see. Okay, otherwise, 2 more limited run orders showed up just today, actually. So first of all, I got another FMV game for PS4. This one is called Bloodshore, and this is by Wales Interactive, who has done a ton of other modern FMV games. So pretty excited to check this one out. And then got a bigger order that included Dreamscaper for Nintendo Switch, which looked like a pretty cool game where says use lucid powers to manipulate the elements, warp space, and even control time itself. So it's basically like you're going into the protagonist's dreams and like trying to survive and battle. I think it might be like a roguelike or roguelite. But it looked cool from the trailer. And then I got Blade Runner Enhanced Edition for both Nintendo Switch and PS4. I absolutely love this movie and its sequel, and then I'm a huge fan of the author whose books this film is based on, Philip K. Dick, if you're not familiar. So the original story, I believe, was called Do Androids Dream of Electronic Sheep? And he is like one of, if not the best sci-fi authors ever. So if you're not familiar with his works, definitely check him out. A lot of really famous movies are based on his work, like Total Recall. What's the other big one? Minority Report. So anyway, happy to add the games to the collection. And then finally, I got the Tetris Effect Connected Collector's Edition for Nintendo Switch. So you can see it's in the shape of a giant Tetris piece. And this is pretty darn big. Let me just hold up a Switch case for comparison to show you. This is massive. And I actually will be posting an unboxing video of this game. So if you're interested, definitely check out my my channel for that. So that is everything for the first half of August. Of course, in the comments, let me know what you think. If you have any questions, or if you want to like track down any of this stuff for yourself, I'd be happy to help. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and check out my other videos. I've done a lot of other pickup videos, lots of other video game related content, as well as a lot of unboxing videos. So that said, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again.